And we are live. How are you doing, Jim?
Good. Excellent now. I got all the buttons pushed and everything's good.
It's always good when you push the right buttons.
Indeed. And how about you? Did you just got back from a gig, it sounded like?
Yeah, I just got back from a gig. It's an every Thursday gig for me, so it's always great to have it. But it's one of those that with the jet lag of recovering from America, it was kind of like, wow. I was tired on the way to the show, but then the adrenaline from the show just got me through it. So I'm more awake than what I normally am for this.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Good deal.
how is you? How are things where you are?
Well, I was I'm as the people at home may notice, I'm in a different surroundings again, and this time I'm in an Airbnb in the middle of a forest,
Wow.
and it's really pleasant.
Yeah.
I had a lot of work to do. I didn't want to come, but my wife kind of insisted that we go have a little actual vacation, and because I go out of town a lot, but not a vacation. And I'm really glad. I told her today. I said I didn't want to go, but I'm glad that we did because it's really relaxing.
Awesome. And we have it says, "Hey boys," question brackets. It's Paul. That is Paul Ramsey, an absolute gentleman hypnotist. Great
best.
to see you here, Paul.
Really the best.
Yeah. And it's weird because we had a week off from this last week. We had Sean, our guest presenter, was in here looking after the show, so that was great. And so yeah, we've been on our travels doing our thing. It's been an exciting week in the world of hypnosis. We've got so much stuff.
Yeah, and and let's give another shout out to Sean. For always stepping up to the plate. When we can't do it, he's almost always available to jump in there and lend a hand. So.
Exactly. It's one of the things that that was brought up at the keynote at Hypno Thoughts was about that collaboration and working together, which is so important in this industry.
It so is. And I posted something on my wall today about, abundance versus scarcity. And, I came from, I don't know about you, but I came from a place of scarcity when I was first starting off. And I was able to switch it around and get into abundance thinking. And ever since, things have just expanded greatly ever since then.
Yeah. It's that scarcity thinking is it's what holds a lot of people back. It's that whole holding on to my stuff, not wanting to share it, all of that type of stuff. None of that helps. Working together, collaborating with other professionals, these are the things that really it's the difference that makes the difference, I believe.
Indeed. Yeah. The more we lift up each other, we're all getting lifted up, and things like this show. If we were in scarcity thinking, we couldn't do it. We couldn't work on big projects together because we'd be afraid of the other guy, getting more, money, glory, whatever. So, yeah. Hey, Terry, thanks for watching.
So Terry's watching over on Amazon, and do make sure you give both Jim and myself a follow if you don't follow already. One of the big announcements, my exciting news this week is the International Association of Stage Hypnotists launched Hypno Thoughts. That was truly epic. That's Indeed. A great project. We talk about collaboration of lots of guys working together to do something special. Paul Ramsey in the comment section, he is very much involved in that. And what a great job! What a great job Paul has done in talk about herding cats. That guy has heard of the cats. So that's the International Association of Stage Hypnotists. Website for that is entertainmenthypnotist.com. Let me just push that into the staging so we can see it. I don't know if it's figured out the link problem that we had last week, so we'll find that in a second when that link appears in there.
And I got to tell you, I love that. I love that logo. I love the branding on this thing.
Oh, and so strong.
When we walked into the vendor room and I saw the what do you call it? The banner. Just blown away. It's such a cool thing you guys have put together. I'm happy, proud, all those things for you guys for you guys doing that.
It's a collection. It's everyone working together, which in this industry is so rare. Susan says good evening. Good evening / good morning, Susan. It is currently 1 a.m. here in the United Kingdom. So yeah, that is cool. So yeah, Hypno Thoughts. What were your thoughts on Hypno Thoughts? Or should we hand over to the roving reporters?
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And Susan, we'll get back to that question in a second. But we've got two. I tell you what, good looking. I almost say male models. One of them's definitely a fitness model. Roving reporters. We'll just pop that on now.
Okay, those are the roving reporters. That's right, fitness model.
Fitness model. There we go.
Indeed. What a good time that was. I mean, and we filmed some great videos. That is such a cool lounge.
Hi guys, we are here as are we roving reporters?
We are roving reporters. You almost said live, but we're not actually live today because we're here in Las Vegas at the Hypno Thoughts Hypnosis Conference.
How's the conference been for you so far?
It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, every year, I swear, I think it's not going to, I mean, how could it get any better? But every year it's even better.
Yeah. I know people were kind of, I would say nervous. I don't know if nervous is the right word, but there was a whole new venue, all of that things. But what can I say? This venue is absolutely stunning.
It is. I mean, if you're used to the old venue, you're going to be so amazed by this new venue if you haven't been here yet. And you very rarely smell smoke.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I never went to the old venue for the conference.
Oh, that's right.
This is my first HTL, so it's been amazing. I love how convenient it is. There's the monorail just so you can get down into the city and all the craziness that's down there. What's your favourite talk so far, your standout talk, presentation you've seen?
I'm going to say Michael Johns. Michael Johns was so good, epic. So good. Yeah. And you don't get a chance to see him very often.
No. I think Terry Stokes has just done a talk there. Yeah. That was epic. But I think Scott Sandland's keynote that was about kind of working together, collaborating, helping each other out. That for me is a moment.
You know what, and it's so true, and really encouraging people to reach out to people that are new. And this year they actually have a little ribbon on the bottom that says, you know, first timer, so that the old timers can go up to them and say, hey, welcome to the family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so welcoming. It's such an amazing community here at Hypno Thoughts. What they have done here is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you didn't come this year, you need to come next year, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of these conferences, they've all got something special about them. Yes. This is the biggest hypnosis conference in the world. If you are a hypnotist, you do need to be at Hypno Thoughts.
Yeah. I always say, go to a specialty conference and or a regional conference, something near you, and then go to Hypno Thoughts. You have to go to Hypno Thoughts. It's the big one. You have to.
Absolutely. So that's us from
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, Nevada, the Sahara. Yes. And yes, don't forget.
There we go. So that was us having fun.
It was. I was just going to say, you know, boy, it's too bad. Watch, you know, if you haven't gone to Hypno Thoughts, you got to jump into the group. Get yourself into the group, the Hypno Thoughts live group. Get on the mailing list and stuff too, because they had a special over the weekend for half price. So if you didn't get it, you missed it, and it would have been a really great deal for you.
Yeah. Facebook user said Grant is pulling a full Bob Barker with that microphone. I don't know who Bob Barker is, but I'm going to take it as a massive compliment.
Huge compliment.
Huge compliment.
He's a game show host.
Do you know what? It was weird. Hypno Thoughts for me has always landed right in the middle of my peak season. And I've always said, I can't afford to go to Hypno Thoughts. I'm busy actually hypnotizing people and doing the work. Right. But you know what? Having been there, the connections that are made at that conference are unbelievable. And you know, I mentioned Terry Stokes is talking there, and I mentioned the International Stage Hypnosis Association. Terry mentioned that during his talk. We went live at Hypno Thoughts with it, and the website actually crashed with the people that signed up for it. So it's absolutely amazing. Susan asked who's involved in it. The people that are behind this, Susan, is Terry Stokes, Michael DeShalit, Nadine Manuel, Paul Ramsey, me.
Salish.
Salish. Dale, the guy behind Peep Insurance. This is, and that's just the first layer. Then we've got a second layer, an advisory board that we're putting together as we speak. It's not a money-making venture. This is about, let's get everybody together and do better together. So Susan, get over to entertainmenthypnotist.com. Drop your email in there. You'll be sent more information as we go on. It is an absolutely amazing organization.
And William Mitchell as well.
Got William Mitchell as well, of course.
Yeah.
There's so many great A-lister names involved in this. That when you go through the list, you always forget somebody. But it's got some of the best hypnotists in the world and a dodgy Brit. So.
And Paul says apparently this is something that that Paul is working on. Everyone who joins gets a purple sequined waistcoat. So that's
there we go.
exciting. Yeah,
there you go.
Exciting.
What more could you want? So yeah, speaking. I mean, you mentioned in that thing there about. I think I do that. Awesome. You mentioned in there about regional conferences as well as local conferences. Coming up in a few weeks' time is the
Michigan Hypnosis Conference. Man, I'm excited about that. It's sneaking up on us.
Yeah, coming around really quick, and I'm really excited about that one. One, because I get to play out all over that there America again.
Yeah,
I should have just stayed out there, I think.
Exactly right. You said something interesting too. You said that you didn't think you could afford to take the time off, but I really think you can't afford not to take the time off, because the connections you make are so much more important than a gig or two, really. On the other hand, one of the things that we did for the stage hypnotist, that's why we put together the Performing Hypnosis Summit in February.
Yeah.
So that's a slower time. It's not exactly slow. There's going to be some people that can't do it, but it's a slower time for a lot of stage hypnotists. So we're hoping that makes a difference.
Yeah. It was really great. There was a moment, I mean, I went out somewhere and came back, and there was a moment where there was you, Scott King. Is it Bob? Who's the...
Bob Martin.
Bob Martin. And it was like dueling banjos, but with covert hypnosis. And it was like someone was saying some stuff to catch someone else, and then someone else was trying to catch someone else. And it was like multiple layers of like inception of hypnosis in hypnosis in hypnosis. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, don't scratch your nose. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't let anybody know that you're here. It was awesome to watch. I've not played with hypnosis like that for years, so that was great. So yeah. And at the Mission Conference, we're doing our stage hypnosis workshop as well, which is going to be great. Which is, if you're a hypnotherapist and you're wondering whether stage hypnosis or performing hypnosis is for you, give it a shot. Sign up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will find out whether it's right.
And it's interesting too. When you think about collaboration and abundance thinking and stuff, the world. We just posted about that. I think it was yesterday or something. There were a lot of really well-known, accomplished stage hypnotists that liked the post.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like giving you kind of rooting for you instead of, oh my God, now somebody else is going to train and I'm not going to get another student or something. So I really love that.
Yeah. What I really liked as well is some great hypnosis authors were at the conference. So at the vendor tables, you can get your books signed by the author, which is always great to do. It's a great momentum to take away from it. And speaking of books, as if that is the greatest segment that has ever been put in any show that has ever been live in the world ever. You've got some book recommendations for us?
I do. Yeah. Which one are you going to show first?
Well, if you say it, I'll show it.
Oh, indeed.
Said that before. That's what she said.
Oh, you beat me to it. Never mind. Okay. Excellence in NLP coaching.
There it is.
There it is. Tap you. So, this is by Dr. Richard Nongard. Most of you listening, if you don't know him, you should know him. And man, I got to tell you, this book, it's a thick one, and I just realized I don't have it in front of me right now. It is gigantic. It's like the size of a Bible, but it's not something we have to read it from cover to cover. What I've been doing is I've been kind of going through it and picking, this NLP technique and this NLP technique, and just a lot of really just great information from, one of the leading authors in our industry, really.
Yeah, and it's I had a love-hate relationship with NLP. When I first started out, I very much got into it. I love the language patterns of NLP. I love the embedded commands. I loved all that stuff. And then I fell out of love with it for a while. I went more like the direct hypnosis way. Yeah. But I'm looking more into it again now when it comes time to like writing copy for sales, for stuff like that. I'm starting to look a bit more into it. So I'm looking at that, doing maybe a bit of a refresher on NLP. So this looks like a great book for that as well.
You know, I feel the same way. In fact, I have some friends that do like exclusively NLP, and I've done some trainings with them, and they're like, "Well, what do you use a lot of NLP?" And I'm like, you know, it's not my only thing, because you know what, I think that hypnosis is just easier, right?
Yeah.
Put somebody in a trance and tell them this and that. But you know, there's a lot of, you know, I try to include at least one NLP technique in each session, and sometimes that's just future pacing, but sometimes I'll do a swish technique or you know, mapping across, those kind of things. So I think there's some really powerful tools with it.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting book for me this week is, and I'll pop it in there now. And this is Mind Play. Now, this is a fascinating book by Mark Wiseman, and this is on the kind of the erotic play within hypnosis, which I know is a controversial subject for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those that, you know, it gives you an understanding of it, but a lot of it is good. It's about the consent stuff. So if you are looking at playing down that field, and I know a lot of guys, when they get into it, you know, they do kind of go, oh, I wonder if I could do this. It's great to pick this book up and go through it. It kind of gives you some foundations and some good pointers and stuff like that. I've not had too much of a play with it. This is not my specialty field. There's guys out there that do brilliant stuff in this arena. It's not my arena, but I bought this book because I wanted to understand this arena. A couple of people had messaged me some, like, let's just say some funky stuff, and I thought, okay, let me just check this out. So it gives you an understanding of that field, and it's not what you first think. So there's a lot of stuff about consent, which I think is relevant to all of us when it comes to hypnosis, especially street hypnotists, especially hypnotherapists, and definitely us stage guys. So a great book in that sense. So highly recommend that.
You know, I'd like to say too, you know, it's interesting you say that, because I'm reading Thomas Crown's book right now, and once it's published, we'll have it on the show. But not Joseph Crown, not Thomas Crown, Joseph Crown, and that was the first thing that's really struck me, because he's in a different community than I play in. But it's really, there's a lot of well, number one, acceptance, kind of regardless of what your thing is, and then the other part of that is consent, and I really thought that was an excellent thing, and it was kind of unexpected for me.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, Joseph Crown is, again, you know, is a thought leader within that field. And just to say, because you did mention it, Thomas Crown, great film.
Indeed.
Yeah. I must admit, I think the Thomas Crown Affair was one of those, when the film, there was a whole scene, the second film, not the original one. The original one's great as well. But I found my love of Nina Simone's Cinnamon just from that scene where I was walking through the libraries, and yeah, it was a great film. Not connected to Joseph Crown in any way, shape, or form. So yes, what other books have you got for us, Jim?
Well, you've got last week's book up there right now, I can see. Oh, you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
the next book. Oh, I have it too. Never mind. Did I put the wrong one in? Well, let's talk about it. Oh, no, here it is. Never mind. I don't know what's going on. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Comment, you know, I'm just curious. Comment over on if you will, comment over there if you have read this book. Have you read it, Grant?
Yes. I think if you've not read this book, then you are not in this arena. Yeah.
I think it should. I mean, honestly, I think it should be. It should be like required reading in school. I mean, really, this is, of all the stuff that we have to learn in school, this is one of the most important things. And excellent Facebook. I think that's Paul probably. I mean, I've read this book a few times, and I'm still like catching myself going, oh, geez, I'm not doing that enough, and that I'm doing that too much.
Yeah, it's one of them that it's essential reading. But you know, it's a reference book. You read it, you go do some stuff, you adjust, you read it again, and then you get a different understanding. And I love the fact of this is a personal development book that is, how old is this book?
Oh my God, it's got to be 70 years old probably.
And it's still so relevant now than what it's ever been. And it's just, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yes.
But yeah, great book. One of my favorites.
A warning for you. If you're being it for the first time, the language is kind of archaic, but it's an old book. But the principles, I mean, they're still 100% valid. And I got to tell you, it's a little bit of a story with this. I had gotten into, I had a friend that I used to argue with all the time about politics. And I remember one time we're in this argument and I said, well, you're an effing idiot. And he said, I was much less enlightened then. And he said to me, he said, no, you just don't know how to argue. And I was like, oh, then I was really pissed. And I was like, oh, that's it. I'm going to learn how to argue. And so I go to the library and I'm looking up these books on arguing. And I found this book, Larry King, interestingly, on how to argue effectively. And I start reading this book. I'm going, all right, I'll know what to say next time. And about the same time, I came across this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I start reading it. And I remember, I will never forget the concept. I don't know if I've got the line exactly right, but Dale says, you will never win a friend by winning an argument. And it was because no matter how much evidence no one's ever going to go, oh, wow, thank you so much for proving me wrong. They may say, well, thank you for, they may not hold it against you, but they're certainly not going to love you for it. And would you rather be, right or happy?
Yes. Yeah. I think for me, it's an essential book. It has to be. Yeah. It was one of the first, maybe second personal development books that I picked up. And just, again, I keep going back to it.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Misquotes the Bible. Love that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I really, every now and then I go through a phase of going, do you know what? I want to learn some really good quotes from the Bible just so I can just roll them out and win arguments. Cool. On the same kind of scheme as that scheme, if that's the right word. I don't think that's the right word. Let me just find out where it says it's in here. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
Oh yes, another
again. Yeah, if you're into the law of attraction, I believe a lot of the law of attraction stuff started here. Again, probably a similar age. The Think and Grow Rich stuff, I think, is absolutely amazing. There's all sorts of different versions of that. I've got about 3 copies of this. I went through a phase of this was my go-to sending people a book. And so I've got the hardback copy as well, which is like my favorite one. But it's such a great book. And it helps keep me motivated. And I wouldn't say it's just necessarily about the money, but it does keep you motivated.
Sure.
There we go. Hill's book is the only book I reread every year. Exactly. A lot of these books are ones that you've got to revisit because every time you read it, you get a slightly different understanding of it. Your point of reference, your filter is different every time. So that is that is a corker.
And you miss stuff, you forget. I mean, that's what I'm gonna say. You miss stuff, but you also forget. I forget some of the stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. If I just change my way of thinking, things start to come around, and it works every time.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting back to the hypnosis news.
Yeah.
What else we got for them this week, Jim?
Interesting.
Mid-America conference is coming up, isn't it?
Mid-America. Oh, before we get on to Mid-America, let's just say if the Heartland Hypnosis Conference is running a special right now until August 1st, I think it is 50% off registration. So hit up William Mitchell or head over to the website or something. I'm sure it's up there. I got it in my email. If you don't see it somewhere, hit up William Mitchell and see if you can get that special 50% off. It's great. And it's a great conference. Mid-America. Yeah, that'll be coming up, I think, next after Michigan.
Yeah, I must admit, I just going back to Heartland, William Mitchell does a great job. And you get a great mix of hypnotists there. So you get kind of the stage tract, the metaphysical tract, the business tract, all of that is there as well. But yeah, the Mid-America. Are you speaking at this one, Jim?
I am. Yeah. First time attending, first time speaking there.
Oh, fantastic. This is one where I didn't see the speaker application. So if you snooze, you lose. And that's so important when it comes to these types of things. You've got to be on it. So yeah, it looks like a fantastic lineup.
I want to say if I remember right, but I could be wrong. I often am. It seems like your co-host may have reminded you about it, but maybe not.
No, I definitely think he did. I definitely think he did. because he's a good co-host. Cool. So yeah, Mid-America, and again, the branding for this looks like a really cool conference. So looking forward to
and
that.
Of course, Richard Nongard. Speaking of Richard Nongard, he's the one behind it. He took it over from Karen Hand, and I mean, really, whatever that guy touches is just gold.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a great program on how to write a book as well. I must admit, we should actually start featuring some of the hypnosis authors on this as well. Give them shine some light on them, because I think the thing is with writing a hypnosis book is like it is a beast that I have not been able to beat just yet. But I like that. Susan says procrastination, I guess, pays for others. Susan, I live my life by the procrastination rules. When it came to flights for HTL, I waited until the price skyrocketed, thought I'd done the wrong thing, and then ended up with absolutely fantastic flights at a great price with loads of legroom. So I was super happy.
Wow. See, there you go. Yeah, I'm sure Facebook, I think that's Paul again. I'm sure if you reach out to him, I'm sure he'd want to work it out with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So so we should shine a light on those as well. Research is the demystifying hypnosis, which looks like a great piece from Science Direct about the myths and misconceptions about hypnosis.
Yeah.
I think it's really great to see like clinical and research papers really taking hypnosis seriously, which I think is exactly what it is needed. For people to actually understand what we do, rather than it just being articles or horror stories in tabloid newspapers, to have serious research papers out there. And as you always say, it's great to have these that hypnotherapists can share on their timeline on Facebook, so that it shows the good work that we do, that we're not all witch doctors shaking chicken bones in the corner.
So true. And, I mean, there's still so many people out there that just think there's no research about it. We're lumped in with, and, I'll say it again, tarot readers and psychics and all this stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those. I think those things, a lot of people get a lot of value out of them, but they certainly don't have the kind of, research backing that hypnosis does. So people need to know that.
Yeah. Product-wise, each week we're going to feature a product that we both find useful for our industry. I appear to have added 2 on because I forgot which one I was talking about, so I'm going to use the one that I'm talking about. But tell me about yours, Jim. And I think this is one of the most important tools for any business, not just for live streaming, not just for hypnotists, but I think it's one of the most versatile tools that anybody can have.
Yeah, I agree. And so I have the iPhone 10. This is my older phone because I didn't get rid of it. I think, it doesn't make sense to, they're not going to give you very much for a trade-in value. You might as well keep it. And now I can, I'm using it to stream. So if you like the video that you're seeing right here, that's the iPhone 10. Wow. So if if you've got an old phone or you're strapped for cash or something, you can actually buy a used phone, reconditioned phone on Amazon or somewhere else. Amazon, of course, but
definitely on Amazon.
That's where I found this one that I'm highlighting right here. But yeah, and it was funny. I was doing a podcast with somebody a while back who has a separate webcam, and she was looking at mine, going, "Why is your video? Why does it look so good? What are you using?" And I was like, "I'm just using an old iPhone 10. I'm not even using the 12 that I normally use in everyday life." So you get great quality. I take it to when I do a speaking event or something like that. I put it up and I've got the Wi-Fi going so I can stream it live. I can. It's such a great tool to have, just an extra phone around.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's especially for me, I also think the iPhone's great for a couple of reasons. One, exactly like you said there, to have that camera quality is unbelievable. But more importantly, if you are new to presenting, you've got no excuse to not practice. You can set your phone up on the side, you can talk to your camera, and you've got content. You could, we do it all the time. We've just done it in Hypno Thoughts. Put the phone on the side. You saw us doing a roving reporter. That's an iPhone on the side and just going through the stuff. And if you're looking at upgrading your tech, using an iPhone as an additional webcam is just, you You don't have to get the latest iPhone. You can get a slightly older one that is a disposable phone that you can take with you on the road. You can record your shows. After a show, if you've done a great show and you've got people giving you testimonials, get it recorded. Get it in your phone. If you're doing a presentation or a workshop, you don't even have to record the video. You could just record the audio. Get it in your phone and you've got it. With iPhones, you've got no excuse to not run a business. Phone, email, everything all there. So it is the greatest tool of the 21st century, I believe.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And so many people are letting a lack of a better camera or better whatever get in the way of them starting to do videos and stuff. And, start where you're at. Grant says this on his live streaming show all the time. Start where you're at. Yeah. I don't care if you've got a Samsung, an iPhone, whatever, a cheap one, little cheap Samsung or something. Start somewhere. Yeah.
I love the NLP there. I don't care if you've got a cheap Samsung or a good iPhone. we don't judge. Start where you are. Like start on a Samsung and move your way up to an iPhone. there's no bias there whatsoever. I'm an Apple guy as well. But no, it's exactly that. And I find your audience is going to follow you on that journey. So if you start where you are slightly imperfect and you keep improving, your audience buys into that a lot more as well. Your potential clients buy into that a lot more as well. They want to not just feel sold to all the time. They want to feel part of your journey. And so that is great for that. I mistakenly put a couple of products on, but I'm going to talk about this one. It is in the comments section. It's in the carousel if you're on Amazon now. This is a short microphone. It's not plugged in. That's magic. But let me explain to you why I think this is great. If you are wanting to level up your sound, this is the microphone to do it. You've got all the Shure technology that's great, but on the back you'll see you've got XLR and USB. So you can start off just using USB, plug it straight into your computer and it works and you get studio quality sound. It's got some really great technology that basically gets rid of the sound that's going on around the room and just works straight on here as well. But then when you level up a little bit more, you can start using XLR on here as well. So you can really get that studio quality sound for your Zoom calls, for your MP3 products that you're delivering as well. It is a great bit of kit for that. Once you've upgraded your iPhone, you've got a good camera. I do think like upgrading your sound is essential. So, yeah.
So I'm curious. So would they, would people, if they're using it, so you said they can do USB or XLR, did you say?
USB or XLR. So you can have a combination of not the combination of the two. You can have USB, and then you can use the software within the computer, or XLR, so you can plug it into a sound mixing desk as well.
Gotcha. Good. Interesting. We were talking about, your customers will follow you, your followers will follow you, your journey, because we were just at a talk with Adam Cox, very wonderful guy, and he's doing a lot of podcasts. And he actually talked about that. And somebody even mentioned noticing when he went from, I don't remember which microphone he was using before he went to this microphone.
Yep. And the numbers shot up.
Right.
I do believe, guys, if you're watching this as well, let me know. Jim, you appear to have frozen, either that or you're standing perfectly still and not moving your lips. I can hear you fine, but I can't. I can't see that. So if you just refresh your screen, that should fix that, I believe.
I'm afraid. Let's see.
It's Big Live, so it should be fine. There we go. Yeah, I didn't know if it was just me that had frozen or if he was just sitting really still. I can see he's wanting to join the stream again here. And he is. Nope. His mouth isn't moving. Oh, it is. I'll kick him out again and then he can come back in again. The joys of live. Jim is Jim is actually an Airbnb. It's only one of his many travels. And I know from being out there on the road that sometimes when you're reliant on an unknown internet source, it can be a pain. So Jim, if you're there, if we all hold hands, we can contact Jim. So I'm going to keep talking until he appears. I can see him trying to connect, but his video is not connecting. Oh, the joys. So if you are watching this, you'll realize we are live in a Facebook group on a Facebook page, but also you can catch us over on amazon.com/live. Amazon is a fantastic live streaming platform where we also talk about the products that we use in our day-to-day lives as coaches, as therapists as well. If you are watching on Amazon, please do hit that like and follow. There we go. Grant, next week show folks the Audio Technica ATI 2, then it's got USB and XLR for about half the price of Shure. It's a good option for folks on a tight budget. Absolutely great. Yeah, Audio Technica, fantastic microphones as well. There's a lot of great mics out there. There's a lot of terrible ones as well, but I do like this one, especially for the studio. And I'm always welcome to talk about tech. Jim, can you hear us, Jim? Let's see if we can get him. See if we can get his audio on at least. Jim, can you hear us? No, he can't. There we go, guys. Well, that is it from us this week. Jim has got gremlins in the system. Do join us next week live right here. If you've got any hypnosis news, gossip, anything you want to share, then please do get in touch with us. And if you'd like to be a guest on this show, then please do drop us a message from both myself and Jim in his Airbnb. Take care. Have a great rest of your week, and I shall see you soon.